couple times. He's also got a solid, regular conventional bio build. But Stay Life is also a really solid player from Complexity. So this is going to be a good game. And let's go ahead and get the spawn positions out of the way. Top right is going to be Yellow Terran Maker for RS, and bottom left is going to be Stay Life for Complexity.
Yeah, this is a very interesting map for TVT. I have played TVT on this before, and a couple interesting things about it is there is no direct path to your opponent that doesn't have ledges, and those ledges can really come in handy if it turns into a tank game. There is no ramp, of course, at your main base, but there is at the natural, although that doesn't matter so much for Terran versus Terran. What does matter more is, if you see a map like Lost Temple or Zonaga Caverns, the entire map is on one level. You go down your ramp, and you're on that level. That's not the case here.
And for those of you newer players, for TVT, the reason that you don't block, or in any matchup versus Terran, PVT, TVT, you don't block because every Terran unit is ranged, so you're really not getting a whole lot of advantage from blocking unless you're doing some kind of weird build that you don't want them to scout. But blocking is not going to be good because as soon as, like I said, all the units are ranged, but as soon as they get tanks out, they can basically just snipe out all your front buildings without even having to fight your army at all, and then pack up and just head back, and then even if they don't decide to attack you, you've already lost whatever you're blocking with. Barracks factory, barracks, 2 depots, whatever you decided to block with. You've basically lost it, and they've taken it away from you for free.
So look at this though. Down here in the bottom left, he is blocking off. However, that is not a tight wall. There actually is one hex you can get units through, and it's behind the gas.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think it's going to be anything more than denying scouting. I think that's his main goal right here. But he sends a SCV down, if you look, by the third base, by those minerals, just on patrol there. Maybe he's planning some kind of proxy. He's going to send the scout. A lot of times with the proxy, they'll send a scout so that you see it, and you think that's their only SCV out. There he goes.
That proxy racks would
as
be
he
pretty
builds
interesting.
Barracks there. Wow. Maybe Reapers? Maybe. That's the only reason I can think of a proxy barracks right there. Is there enough space to put a tech lab?
There is, yeah. He did leave enough space for a tech lab. Although,
and he gets a tech
Reapers don't really need to be proxied here. Honestly, if you're going to proxy something, you might just lift it into their base. However, if you look at the very top center and bottom center positions where the minerals are, if you proxy something there, Reapers cannot make it up that ramp.
Yeah, and the cliff's another thing, but he builds a reactor here, so maybe he's just going for a really early push.
And he gets scouted on the right there. He's scouted, so that proxy barracks has been discovered. Maker knows exactly what's going on.
Okay, yeah, like I said, Maker I think is one of RS's better players. And I've only watched or casted like 3 or 4 of their games, but Maker I like watching every time. He's a pretty solid player with no really gimmicky stuff. He's just good, and that's, and he's showing it right there, which is just a basic early scout, which can help you so much.
Yeah, and right now Maker is going for that starport quickly and a tech lab right away. So it's probably going to be, well, it's got to be a Raven or Banshee. Both are good in TVT. Both are pretty well-known builds, so I don't think anything will surprise anybody here. However, it looks like Nova's actually going to go ahead and get a command center, but also some bio units with stim. So some type of bio expansion versus a Raven or Banshee build.
Well, what's interesting is he saw this proxy barracks with the tech lab, and he just left it there, and it's still, he's still letting it live there. He doesn't even seem to mind that much. He just D's up a little bit. He got 2 bunkers, was trying to build a 3rd one, and probably to go for that expansion eventually. But yeah,
and Maker feeling the pressure a little bit. Look at that. So he was indeed going for the Cloak Banshee rush. However, he supply blocked himself due to this pressure.
Yeah, that's one thing that you see. It's no monetary value. You can't put a value on it. The pressure that you put on an opponent early can throw them off of their game, and they can miss supply depots, they can miss meal drops, they can miss anything. The early pressure you put on them will have them off kilter and on a different, not able to do their normal build. They're going to have to react to what you're doing to them, which is why I like the early pressure.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime you can force your opponent to do something while you're doing it at your own leisure, your macro is going to be better. Especially at a high level like this, where at a high level of play, the two players really aren't very far apart in skill.
Yeah, even at the highest level of play, the harass is always going to play a part in it. And like I said, you can't put a label on the return that you get from it, because it's not so much what you're damaging as the state of mind that you're putting the other player in.
And look at this. He sees the Banshee come out. He sees the cloak. That's a pretty early cloak, too. And it means he's going to run out of energy pretty soon by cloaking that far away from the base. I don't think that was necessary, but it's done now. He gives plenty of time to get some missile turrets up.
But if you also see, he maybe not even just making him react to it, Maker's able to move out of his base and take out that barracks now, which is floated away. But still, he's going to see that it's open for him to expand, and that's probably what he's going to do.
Maker gets a second Banshee out and is going for a third.
2 turrets up.
Despite the fact that turrets are all over. Yeah, you're right. Those turrets are really going to protect against pretty much all Banshee harass. However, Maker is going for a third Banshee, so Banshees can still be good at stopping an army.
Saylife stays continuing, or stays keeping those scans. Like since I've been watching, he's always had at least 2 scans saved up for that. So like if it's anywhere in between, like if he doesn't go for a direct, worker harass, and he chooses to go for his units or supply depots or anything.
And all incoming.
He's gonna have
Look at this.
Ooh, big push.
Maker going all in. Marine and Hellion push. This is going to be very devastating versus those mass Marines of Stay Life. This could actually be a lot of trouble.
Which can make a big difference.
Big engagement going down here. SCV's coming in to tank.
Here we go.
One Banshee blown up immediately. That was quick. No stim from Maker is making the difference here. Looks like Maker's going to get torn up. Wow, that was devastating for Maker. That might be GG, but he didn't pull off every single SCV he has. He has a chance to come back, but it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, this is strange. I've never seen Maker play like this. But like we said, it's a best of 3. It's not a one-game series, so he may be just trying to play like this to throw him off for the next game, which is not necessarily
now the
bad,
worker count,
just different.
Worker count is 32 to 12 in favor of Stay Life. That's pretty huge. Those Banshees need to get quite a few kills if Maker wants to win in the late game. However, it looks like he's not going for that. He hasn't even continued producing SCVs, so he's still all in at this point. Maker knows that going for a late game build against somebody that's already expoed is just not going to work. So look for something desperate here. Maker is pulling off the last of his SCVs.
Back in the game, maybe over-expanding into 2 more expansions on top of nothing. But those are basically all he can do is try and harass as much as he can, and then overexpand. Other than that, he's going to be way behind.
I don't think he's going to go for expand. There's no way, because look, he pulled off all mining, and he's queued up as deep as he possibly can on his production unit. So he is producing everything he can, and he's still sticking to the same tech, which is interesting. You know, I would think he might go for a stim. Stim would help him a lot with those bio units. That's kind of what made the difference the first time, is not having that stim really got him hurt. Here we come again. I don't predict this is going to work, but he's got to give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a last-ditch effort, I think, at this point.
This Banshee's taking unnecessary damage from that missile turret. Oh, that missile turret takes out one Banshee. That's huge. The blue flame is crushing those
It's not cloaking, he
SCVs,
finally
but
cloaks
it
But he
doesn't matter.
scanned,
That's
it.
GG.
Good game. First game for Complexity. Wow, strange play for Maker. That's the weirdest I've ever seen him play, I think. Which is actually saying a big thing considering the builds that he usually does.
Yeah, it was unusual. But it was an all-in. All-ins are pretty common. I have to say, it was questionable that he all-in without stim, although I'm certain he's tried that before. Marines and Hellions can be very devastating.
Yeah.
It could be the choke there. There are those minerals that pinch down the choke a little bit more. It looks like it's a lot more open than it is, and the battle did happen right in that choke.
Here we go, we're going right into the next game. Going to see Xel'Naga Caverns chosen by Maker, like we said in that last matchup. Pretty even map, not surprising to see from anyone. It's probably one of the most well-balanced maps in the lineup right now. And are you in the game? No?
No, I'm not in there yet. I'm just waiting for the invite.
Alright, I got you. Sorry about that. Yeah, Xel'Naga Caverns. It's going to be game 2 for those of you just coming